Hello, we are Ben, Rebecca, and Lucy, a digital nomad family from Alaska. Although at this point in life, we feel more at home traveling the world.
In October of 2021, we shipped our 4x4 camper van Denny from America to Europe and spent 12 months traveling and living in 12 countries, all while working from the road.
Now it's time for a break, so we left Denny in France, flew to Southern California, and we'll be renting a place on the beach just south of the border in Baja for the winter.
Welcome to our Life Less Ordinary.
Hello from San Diego, California.
North America.
USA.
It's been a while.
How strange it is to have those words pass over our lips, and yet at the same time, oh so familiar. We've had a very busy fall and start to winter. Fun and productive, I would say, would be our descriptors, right?
Surgery wasn't fun.
But it was productive.
It was productive, yes.
Visiting family and seeing friends and celebrating the holidays with people we love. That was the fun part.
And we tried to move into our place down in Baja in November, but there was a massive problem. It did not work out. Good news, there's a solution, but we'll get into that later in the video. Another thing that is going on right now, I got nothing for you guys. No fresh content. We're gonna record.
How dare you recover from a surgery?
I had 6 weeks of content coming into our little return home. It's gone now, guys. And we're gonna record a couple recap videos about our time in Europe before starting the new life videos in Baja. But this does not happen very often. I'm mighty uncomfortable because I really do like having that 3, 6, 9, 12 weeks of videos just lined out for you guys. So I apologize. I know I did miss a couple weeks, but hope you had a great holiday season.
As long as we're in San Diego, we thought, why not take the opportunity to do a meetup? And again, what a strange concept. After the last 3 years we've all survived. We haven't done one, and I can't even remember when we last
We've met people, but never a YouTube meetup.
So stay tuned to the end of the video. We're going to provide some details about that. But before we get there, and before we talk about plans for the future, we're going to share some first impressions coming back home to America after living and traveling in Europe for the last year.
Before we get started, I'd like to preface a couple things. This is not going to be a cinematic video with B-roll music and all the feels. This is going to be hanging out with your good old friends, Ben and Rebecca, while they sit next to a lake and there's birds in the background and people walking by staring at us, wondering what we're doing, talking to a camera. The other thing I need to preface is this was not our first time traveling overseas or traveling the world. Rebecca has about twice as many countries as I do, and that's well over 40 right now for her. But this was our first time actually shipping a vehicle overseas and staying there for darn near 365 days. That is a completely different experience than being there for a 7 or 14 day vacation, because there is a lot that can go right in a year and there's a lot that can go wrong in a year. It was a memorable experience, to say the least.
Yeah, both happened for sure. But getting back to our first impressions coming back to the United States, we're definitely going to share more about what it was like and what we learned and experienced living in Europe for that period of time. I think two things come to mind. First of all, it is wonderful to be back close to friends and family, to get to see people that we love and spend time in the holidays with them. On a more negative note, wow, are things more expensive?
It is crazy how expensive things have gotten. Whew. We experienced it in Europe,
definitely.
But the impact was more shocking here.
Yeah, I mean, so let's start with fuel prices. We're coming out of Europe, so we're used to expensive fuel. We paid $10 a gallon this summer in the UK. But what was shocking to us was to fill the truck up with Denny for the last time in Europe, fly home, and we flew to the West Coast, which is always more expensive, of course, And the prices were the same for fuel here in the United States. It was shocking. But probably even more shocking than fuel prices, although it totally makes sense, were the prices for goods, particularly groceries. We didn't have quite such an impact on this front in Europe.
They were already expensive to start with.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah.
So as an example, we got so that we really enjoyed shopping at Lidl, however you say that one. And when we first arrived in Europe, for about 10 days worth of food, we would spend roughly 100 euros. By the time we came home, and factoring in that every country economy is a little different, we paid less in Spain and a lot more in the UK. We paid about 125 euros for the same 10 days worth of food when we left to come home. Here though, wow, so much more expensive, especially meat and produce. Prices have really skyrocketed here.
I like to judge the economy off the price of carne asada burritos. And right now, the going rate for a carne asada burrito here in the Southern California, San Diego area is about $9.75. And granted, it is a tremendous amount of food for $9.75. But when we left the country, we did the renovations that summer, they were $7.50 or so.
Yeah.
And then the previous time we were in the States, they were down around $5.50 or so before the pandemic. And then going back many years to about 1996, when I was a young adult and buying all my own food, I'd get those puppies for $2.50. So I call this the carne asada burrito economy by Denny.
You know, I think maybe the problem is they're putting French fries in those burritos now, and that's why they had to raise the price.
No, don't need to go there. Don't put French fries in a carne asada burrito.
On a side note, we did also see the change in the value of the dollar while we were gone.
It was
our favor.
Very
actually.
favorable time for us to go to Europe.
It really, especially the UK. I'd
Yes.
never in my life experienced such a positive exchange rate for the American dollar. So just to give you some ideas, when we left Europe this fall, €1 was worth about $1.07 US. And then a pound was worth about $1.24, which was pretty significant because when we arrived in the UK in the springtime, it was $1.33 per pound.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid and went to Europe for the first time at 14, it was a 2-to-1 ratio. So 1 pound was $2 if you can imagine.
Yeah. So overall, we did get very lucky that the US dollar to pound and euro exchange rate was in our favor.
Aside from the cost of everything as we return back to the United States, our impressions with coming home, I wish we've actually sat here and racked our brains to think of positive things.
Aside from friends and family, those are the biggest positives.
It's wonderful to come home, to be out of Denny and have a break, and those are all personal things. But on a larger scale,
not much nice you can say.
Doesn't feel like there's a lot of positive impressions to have. That things are expensive, people are short-tempered, politics are out of control.
The division is absurd, but all of this stuff is also happening everywhere around the world. It's a very complicated time
post-pandemic
in history, and there's going to be a lot for the historians to chew on when they look back at this little period.
Well, as my grandma would say, if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. So maybe that's the approach we'll take.
Maybe I should take note of that, but sometimes I feel like I'm saying the truth even though the truth is not necessarily nice. Well, that's an internal battle that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Another thing that I was dealing with day-to-day was a knee pain, and I had been living in pain for way too long, and it got to the point where it was aggravating my back injuries, which also contribute to living in pain. So needless to say, I had surgery, and there was this glimmer of an idea of, hey, we can do this in Europe in the truck. That would not have happened between the having to climb in and out of Denny because it's very high off the ground, The stairs, they're solid stairs, but they are steep and narrow. And then the bed in the back, it just would not have been possible. And I've been under the direct supervision of a medical professional.
And you're a very good patient, unlike me.
Yeah. You are not a good patient at all. I love you, but you do not listen or want to follow things. But today's about me.
That's right. It's about
you.
And you're a good patient.
This. So, this is the wrap. Mm-hmm. And can you pull that down?
It's getting a little messy. It looked a lot nicer when you first came home.
But those are my initials. And those are the doctor's initials. Before surgery, they wanted to make sure I agreed that they were doing the right leg.
The left leg, actually.
Correct.
The correct leg.
All right, let's remove this thing and see what's underneath. And for the record, the first day was not too bad, but then stuff started wearing off, and last night was, I was feeling it. We'll just say that much. What you doing?
I'm helping.
We're in a sterile environment here, folks.
Ew, I have to touch your blood.
I bled?
Yeah, there's blood under here.
Yeah. How much blood? That's good gory stuff for the camera. Oh, yeah.
You got some steri strips here. I thought there would be 3, but you only have 2 holes. So this is where they insert the trocars, and then they put their instruments in. It was all arthroscopic. Show your other knee so we can. Yeah, oh, wow, you are swollen.
But the good news is we are 6-7 weeks out from surgery. I am feeling a lot better and looking forward to fishing this beach that we are going to have to call our own in Baja. And all in all, not living in pain.
Speaking of Denny, it is a little strange to be without him. He definitely is a part of our family.
Yeah.
A part of our identity.
Doesn't identity matter? But definitely, it's an identity.
He's the conversation starter. You're never just a person in the crowd like we are now with our little car. And we miss him. But it does feel really good to have an extended period of time after 2 years of living in the truck nonstop. 13-foot box, by the way, in case you forgot.
I don't think they forgot. It's been said enough.
To have a little bit more room. The thing that you have to compensate for in that, though, is then you're living out of a suitcase, which has its own share of challenges.
Yeah, that's not fun either.
No.
Let me take my eyes off the camera real quick. Oh, so we also have bought a car. Since Denny's in Europe and the F-150's in Alaska, we needed wheels to get around, and we were lucky enough to have a family member that was willing to sell us their 2008 Honda Civic at pre-pandemic pricing. I'm just gonna leave it at that because we all know shit went through the roof over the past couple years. So
again, another shocker when we started looking at home. Like, wow, cars are expensive.
Exactly. So this is the perfect car for us to scoot around in, and it gets great fuel economy, and who knows, we might even take a few road trips.
Now to answer the question we know you've all really been wanting to ask, how is Lucy doing? And as you can see here, she is happy and healthy and wonderful as always. She has turned 2 since we've been home. She's really thriving living outside of Denny and has taken quite well to having some extra space around the house. And we have some videos to share with you so you can see Lucy being cute.
Playing with your Uncle Gabe, Luch? Huh? Oh, that's a slippery one. Lucy loves to roughhouse. Yeah. Look at this fun game. Gabe does so well playing with Lucy. They play just rough enough. think Lucy actually plays a little rougher. Well, I guess we need to tell you what happened to the place in Baja. Well, we tried moving down there at the end of November, and I knew the area. You know, we've traveled Baja a lot, and, you know, I was going down there back in high school, illegal. Well, no, it was legal, but I was doing illegal things down there, drinking on Revolution.
You didn't
but,
have permission.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there, but I know
Mom.
Baja. I know the stretch where we rented a house, and I know it's close to the toll road. And I inquired, and they said the toll road wasn't really an issue. I believe them because I do know the area, but we got there and it was just too close to the toll road for people who were wanting to get away from the road, because the irony is we didn't want to like live on the road to live near a road, and we also do video production and voiceover, so we need a relatively quiet environment, and unfortunately this was not it. But thanks to the help of the wonderful owners, we have pivoted and have a plan. Compromise was the unit was not available till the second week of January. So we decided to just come north and spend time with friends and family until then. But they're so nice and generous. They're going to let us rent this other unit. It is going to be great. We know it already. And the sound is super quiet. All you can hear is ocean.
On a positive note, we're certain the house is level,
Yeah.
and the Wi-Fi is fast. So we're already miles ahead.
Now it's time to make the official meetup announcement. January 4th, 5 to 7 p.m., Fiesta Island, San Diego, California. It's a decent sized island, so we're going to look for a good place to park and maybe even have a little bonfire. Who knows? I say 5 to 7. Those are flexible. If we're having great conversation, we will stick around further, but bring a chair and stay up to date on this meetup through the YouTube community page. I will let everybody know there, and then the exact day of, I will also let people know in that community section a pin of where on the island that we found a place to hang out with you guys. So it's a wrap.
I think so. I think we've shared everything we have to say today. For next week's video, we will be answering your questions, the most asked questions about our time in Europe. And we're really looking forward to reflecting on all of the things we've learned this past year and sharing that knowledge and information with you.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you on the road, but we won't see you on the road because we're not on the road anymore, but that's a wrap.
Bye. Anything else you want to tell the camera?
No, I think I've done pretty well considering I'm intoxicated under pain meds.
Mm-hmm. He's been especially smiley for the last few days.
But I haven't shit for a few days, so there's the double-edged sword. And today's the day.
The payment for the smiley
Something's gonna have
face.
to happen.